Hello and welcome to Marketing Optimization with Alex Designs. I am your host, Alex Harris, and today I'm very happy. Optimization Nation, I am proud to have Mr. John Lee Dumas in the house. How you doing, John?
Alex, I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time to allow me to come on your show because it's an honor.
Thank you. John, I want to know, are you ready to optimize?
Let's optimize, baby.
Yeah. So in this episode, this is really going to be a great case study for anybody out there who wants to start a business, create an audience, and then have a way to sell to that audience, because it really is so easy. And John's going to tell you all about how he has created a custom sales funnel using Leadpages and InfusionSoft. How are you loving using those two softwares?
Man, I don't know how I could do it without those two. I'm great friends with Clay Collins over at Leadpages, so I love and support everything that he does over there. And they call InfusionSoft ConfusionSoft for a reason, Alex. But luckily, we have a mutual friend in Roger Graves, and I have another group of people who I rely on to make sure that whatever I need to do in InfusionSoft, I can do, and it makes it unbelievably organized, optimized, and monetized.
And
I just came up with that.
There you go. And monetizing is what we're all going to be talking about today, because it's great to create a podcast, but really you have to pay the bills. So we want to generate some revenue. So tell me, it's now 2014, John. Tell me about your great year.
So 2013 was an amazing year. I'm sad to have seen it end, but Alex, like all good things, it must come to an end. In 2014, I'm stoked that we've already started on such a great note, and New Media Expo is starting things off on the right foot. It's so obvious that podcasting is going to continue its powerful trend, and that has just really got me fired up. But 2013 was amazing, Alex. I mean, I launched just a few months before 2013 started. And so I pretty much had Entrepreneur on Fire's first full year was 2013, this full year in business. And it was an amazing year, especially starting in September when we really turned on the monetization channel that I knew was waiting behind the power of Entrepreneur on Fire. And the months of September, October, November, and December, we released income reports to be 100% transparent, to show our successes, to show our failures. But, the months, September was a $50,000-ish month. October, we actually broke $100,000 in gross revenue. November wasn't too far behind it with about $94,000 in gross revenue. And December was in the 90s as well. So those 4 months were obviously a great way to end the year. I hope we can continue that trend in 2014, because that'll mean a 7-figure year for Entrepreneur on Fire. And that'll be amazing. It's something that we're definitely pushing towards and more. Only time will tell, but it was a great year. And we finished it with a bang too, Alex, because we were selected by iTunes as the best of iTunes 2013 Entrepreneur on Fire, the podcast. So it's amazing to see recognition from what really is the Amazon of podcasting, which is iTunes. And to see that recognition was just a great kind of cherry on top of an amazing 2013. So I'm sad to see it go, but I'm excited for 2014.
Wow. Well, big congratulations from Fire Nation. We're all right behind you. I mean, you deserve it more than anybody. You're obviously an overachiever. You've created the systems, put them in place, and now I want to talk about that software that you're using to collect those leads and generate that revenue. What is the main software that you use to create your landing pages, and how do you do that?
So we use Leadpages, and I love the software Leadpages because it's so integratable with WordPress, and it's so easy to put opt-in forms on, buy now button forms on, and to make changes on the fly. They have a number of great templates, and they're really customizable. So Kate and I use the Leadpages templates on basically a daily basis, and we love it.
Well, I want to break it down, and I want to show that really that anybody can really do this. And we'll walk you through this in audio version, but you can also check out the video version as well on my YouTube channel. So let's say people are searching for, Tim Ferriss, and they go ahead and they click on a Google result for Entrepreneur on Fire. Oh, I want to check out the 4-Hour Work Week about that. And then they arrive at this page related to your show notes. I really love how you're organizing this, and I have a lot of questions about how you change your sidebar, because I do see it changing, adding different promos here and there. Have you seen on your sidebar people clicking the 20 sneak peek videos versus behind the scenes, and are you segmenting those differently? How are you using Leadpages to determine which is better for you?
So we're always using analytics to determine what is converting the best. And another great thing about Leadpages that we haven't even really talked about yet is that they have a great analytics tool that shows you the amount of people that are landing on that page, the amount of those people that are converting into email opt-ins or into the buy now button opt-ins. So it's really great analytics. We're always testing. We're always doing A/B testing and seeing what's converting the best and what's really working the most to get Podcast Paradise potential members to get on a webinar with us, because our webinars are converting at an incredible rate. I mean, Alex, we just had a webinar last 2 days ago with just 35 people on it, and we had 13 sales. And at $500 a pop, that's about a $6,500, $7,000 hour and 15 minutes that we spent. So definitely worth our time to funnel people to a webinar so they can see Podcasters Paradise in action. And we utilize Leadpages for that as well.
Yeah, because as you click through either of these different landing pages, you take people to like a sneak peek version where you're giving a ton of value and using some credibility using Pat Flynn's image right there. Have you seen that work better versus different ways of for instance, in your webinar sign-up page?
Yeah, definitely. We wanted to give people different options. We know that the webinar option sign-up page is someplace that we really like to funnel people to, but at the same time, we really want to give people a taste of what the video tutorials are all about, because that's what a lot of people are drawn to. So we just have different options, and both work for different people at different stages in our funnel and in their actual journey. So somebody that really may be like, you know what? I really need to see these video tutorials to feel comfortable about my purchase, and then they may buy. But then there's other people that really want to just get on and make sure that everything's real and genuine. And so then we do these webinars every single week to really kind of just put that trust there and put that transparency in, and people really dig it. They get on, they ask me personal questions. They see that I'm an engaging part of the process and not just kind of a face behind Podcasters Paradise, but I'm actually there engaging. And that kind of commitment really helps. So I can't say enough about both tactics that we're using. One, just the video proof, which is really giving those video tutorials a sneak peek into them so people can press play and actually get some quality value out of it. But number two, webinars. I can't say enough about webinars and the value of converting people on those actual webinars into buyers, because they love that process.
Yeah, because I think you have to... You're building that trust with your new users, especially they listen to your podcast and they're probably arriving that way. So it probably takes a number of times to connect with that person back and forth before they may commit. And then when they're ready to actually, sign up for a webinar, now they have seen that, oh, you're a real person. You're actually going to provide me a ton of value. So, now I'm actually maybe ready to actually. And also the scarcity portion of it. Can you speak about that? How you raise the price?
Yeah, so I am a big believer in really having the price and the value of Podcasters Paradise match up. We're always adding video tutorials. We're doing webinars with today's top podcasters. The forum's becoming more and more engaging as more people join Podcasters Paradise. All of those things, Alex, equate into a higher value of Podcasters Paradise because people are getting more. Somebody that joins today is getting to already go in and watch the two incredible webinars that we've done, one with Pat Flynn, one with Amy Porterfield. They're able to immediately consume every single video tutorial that we've already released. So as we're adding value, we're also raising the price because we want the price to reflect the value. And it's also that scarcity tactic that you're talking about that really works. People that are on the fence might just decide to pull the trigger instead of sitting back and just watching the price rise and rise and rise.
Yeah, I love how the sales funnel leads up into the final step that also shows Pat Flynn's video as well. And then you have the option there. If they're really not ready to purchase yet, then they can go ahead and watch the sneak peek videos or sign up for the webinar as well. I have seen you change this button out a couple different times. Are you testing different headlines and buttons?
Yeah, we're always testing headlines. We're always testing buttons. We're always testing colors. I mean, we're all about optimizing, Alex. So, we have fun. We like to test. We like to see what works. There's never a way to know exactly what works because, just because you change a color and you have 4 people buy, it might make you think it has something to do with the color, but it could just be a total coincidence. So it's always a game and there's no correct recipe. But I think the game is mostly is more fun when you just play it often.
Yeah. Well, I think people are starting to see the amount of value that you're putting into the paradise in general. And as the price increases, I saw that it was worth it because I used it. And, if it was $500, I probably definitely would have considered it because it saved me a lot of time when I was launching my podcast. That's for sure. So what's your, after people sign up for this, how do you get them into InfusionSoft? And then what do you do with that data?
So that's a great question. And that's the beauty of our funnel. So when you click on that buy now button, it takes you to an order form. That order form is an InfusionSoft order form. So when people are entering in their information, their address, their credit card information, their name, all of that information is immediately then populated into a contact form within Infusionsoft. So we have all that information, obviously not the credit card information, but we have all of their information that they're entering into that order form within Infusionsoft, and that allows us to add them to different email funnels that we have, different opt-in forms, different nurture campaigns that we're doing according to different tags that we're applying to them. And that word tags is kind of an Infusionsoft term, meaning that, Alex buys Podcasters Paradise. Now he has a Podcasters Paradise tag. Alex, is part of Fire Nation Elite. He also has a Fire Nation Elite tag. And so when we want to segment people or just hit a certain portion of our list, or, say, we really want to target people that have bought Podcasters Paradise in the last month, we can do it all that way through Infusionsoft, which is incredibly helpful.
Well, I think it's clear that, that you're not doing anything, that any random person couldn't do because, Leadpages is relatively inexpensive. Infusionsoft may be a little bit more expensive, but you could use MailChimp or Aweber really to do the same things. As you take that data in Infusionsoft, are you creating a marketing automation program for, additional sales and that type of creative?
So we're definitely keeping that information and looking forward to ways to utilizing it. For instance, we're in the process of creating another product. And so when that next product comes out and is ready, the first people that we will turn to are our current customers. You've always heard, and it is so true, it's much cheaper to sell to your current clients and customers who already know, like, and trust you, and you validated that trust. Like in your example, you purchased Podcasters Paradise. You see the amount of time, effort, and quality that is behind those doors. And so, I'm sure that if we come up with another product that we stand behind, that it's going to have that same kind of value proposition. So, of course, we're going to go back to you, Alex, and say, hey, just want to let you know, this is another product that we've created. If this is something that you think could add value to your business, here's an early bird special. And, we like to reward our current clients. We like to engage with them and get feedback from them. So, Alex, maybe we would bring you on board, for an early bird special like we did with Podcasters Paradise for 1 weekend in September only. We offered it for $197. And so 35 people took advantage of that. And then we immediately bumped it up to 300. And then ever since then, it's been pretty quickly increasing to its current price now of $600. But that first go round was really important because that was before, Alex, we created anything within Podcasters Paradise. We just had the name and the logo, baby. We had no content at all, but we wanted to make sure that this was something that people would actually buy. We used that Eric Ries Lean Startup method to perfection. And so that's another great takeaway that I would have is, open it up to your customers, new products that you have and utilize the information you have that we have right now within Infusionsoft to market to them, to give them a great early bird special deal, and then be very adamant about asking for feedback to improve the product going forward.
Yeah, getting that feedback is really key. So looking forward, do you see your revenue growing in one area more than others? Because you are pretty diversified in your products, your mastermind group, and then your sponsorships. Do you see, or is there anything additionally new that you're thinking of?
I really think that when you kind of get to the level that Entrepreneur on Fire is now, the real opportunity to increase and leverage and scale the monetization aspect is through products and services. Fire Nation Elite is amazing. I mean, that's an incredible recurring revenue that we have for Entrepreneur on Fire. But as you know, Alex, we cap it at 100 members, and we are not going to increase that number, above that number 100, because we know that's the right number. It's big enough where we can impact each other's businesses, but it's small enough where we can really develop intimate relationships. So that's not really a way in 2014 that we're going to increase our revenue. That is going to remain the same. But models like Podcasters Paradise and different products and services that we're going to create like those coming up in this year, that's really going to allow us to continue to monetize in a very scalable way. So that's the direction I see us going. Our sponsorship revenue is probably going to increase slightly throughout the year, but there is a law of diminishing returns as far as there's only so much sponsors can and will pay. Just because your download numbers are going up, initially your sponsorship revenue will increase at the same rate. But again, once you're at the point now with Entrepreneur on Fire where we're generating $1,400 every single day, because every single episode, that's the amount of money we're bringing in just on sponsorships alone, there will come a point where the sponsors say, listen, we love sponsoring Entrepreneur on Fire, but it's just so expensive. So we'll start to see that slow down a little bit as far as the increase and focus more towards on products and services.
One more question. Since you created the archive of the first 100 podcasts and you essentially created a new feed for that, is that considered new downloads and additional sponsorship revenue?
Well, I don't actually have sponsors for the new podcast that I
really?
just launched, which is Entrepreneur on Fire, the archives. Those are the first 100 podcasts. I don't have any sponsors for those 100. I do instead, which I think is a great model for people to move into when they can do this, I utilize the intro and outros time to promote Podcasters Paradise.
Right.
So, that's my product. And I utilize those 100 episodes to promote it. And very soon we'll have to be coming out with Entrepreneur on Fire, the archives too. Because just a quick side note, technical wise, you can only have 301 episodes per podcast feed in iTunes. Then you're cut off. So when we were at 400, we were cut off at 100, and then we kept moving up as we were going. So now that we're at 450, episode number 1 is 150. So basically we had to go and republish those 100 on a different feed. And this was iTunes' recommendation. This is what they recommended us doing. And it's worked out great. So it's been a great way for all these emails that I get. John, where are the first 100 episodes? Now I can actually point them to that, and they can hear all of my great past guests. Because, in the top 100, I had Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk, Pat Flynn, Chris Brogan. And number 2, they can hear how bad I was as a host. And hopefully that inspires them to start podcasting.
Well, I think you're obviously collecting a lot of leads and a lot of information. So there's probably even a way to generate revenue off the data that you're collecting of just the industry in general. Because I think, you are reaching massive action and just going further a lot faster. And I think your data is probably some interesting data that iTunes might even want. You think about selling your data.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, John, I really appreciate your time. Let's close by telling people what are you most looking forward to in 2014?
The thing I'm really looking forward to, Alex, is the barriers of podcast listenership just being destroyed. And by destroyed, I mean destroyed in a good way, like barriers disappearing and just being gone. And specifically what I mean by that is, a couple years ago, it wasn't that easy to listen to a podcast. You had to know a little bit of stuff. You had to have an iPod. You had to be able to have an iTunes account and plug in and download and then listen on your iPod. And then smartphones came out, and that was a game changer. So now people could have an app and they could listen to podcasts on their smartphone, and that changed everything.
Yeah.
And now in 2014, and specifically in 2015, Stitcher Radio is going into the dashboard of all cars. And so everybody that has a new car that's rolling off the lot is going to be able to turn to Stitcher Radio and stream this very podcast that we're on right now, Alex, through their car speakers, eliminating any barrier. And, the barrier is fairly low now, but at the same time, my grandmother is not going to, figure it out how to listen to a podcast on her smartphone right now, but she is going to know how to turn her dial to Stitcher Radio, type in Entrepreneur on Fire, and listen through her car speakers. So that's going to open the world of podcasting up. And
absolutely.
New Media Expo is a great example. There's massive podcasting tracks at New Media Expo, and so many exciting things are going on. The podcast awards are going on. The CEO of Stitcher Radio, Noah Shannock, is going to be there speaking. I mean, it's really exciting to see where we're going. I'm really glad, Alex, that you have jumped into the game, and I'm excited for where it's going to take you. And I can't wait to follow your progress, specifically being a Fire Nation Elite member. I know I will.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for everything, because the Fire Nation Elite is really an amazing group of people that you put together, and your onboarding process to get the right people into the group was brilliant for sure.
Thank you. Yep. Awesome.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Alex.